I'm going to start recording. And so we are recording now. And again, we're here to talk about marketing and branding for the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky. And so we do have some objectives for today's webinar. What we're going to do is really have a conversation. I mean, there will be some presentation. Kathy's going to let us know about what the website looks like so that you all are familiar with the new website design and also with some messaging that the foundation has created around the foundation's work. We're going to explore branding and logo development and get some input on that, and then also get input on marketing materials that the affiliate foundations feel like that they need that would help them in the work that they want to do. And so we'll spend some time looking at that. Before we get started, one of the things I thought we might do as a group is just think about what a successful marketing campaign might look like. And so everybody take a second and just think about this question and then give a response to it. And I'll capture those responses here. So finish this sentence. A successful marketing campaign will, and here's an example, explain the importance of giving. So what else will a successful marketing campaign do? Feel free to chime in whenever you want.
Let people know that we exist. And I think Sandy had one in the chat.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. And it will achieve action. So it'll have them actually make a donation or start a fund.
Okay, let me get this and then I'll put
draw new possible grantees.
And Sandy has another one in the chat.
Okay, thanks. Could you read it off?
Build trust, yeah.
Okay, great. What else do we have?
It increases our level of professionalism.
Yep.
Sorry, we have a dog issue here.
I know Sandy mentioned this under Achieve Action, but I do think it's important to actually kind of bring to the forefront that it could draw new donors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It links the foundation with the affiliates.
Oh,
in the chat, we have share our wins and express our needs, increase our audience, piques people's interest to look into us more and get involved, and then makes us easy to find and contact.
make us easier to contact.
To find and contact.
Okay, thank you. Great. So when, oh, was there another one?
Yeah, it tells our story.
Great, okay.
There was one other, I think, tool.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just having a hard time watching the chat and capturing the.
Share our wins and express our needs. It's also in the.
Yep, we've got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's good. Thank you, though, for helping, because this is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, sorry.
No,
Gone to the other side.
That is quite all right. So what I wanted
I think it also gives the affiliates and the foundation a unified message.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the same messaging.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So as we are going through the website design, some of the messaging and things like that. Let's keep these things in mind, and then we can, use that to help inform our discussion as we go forward with this. And then as you all move forward, the foundation and the affiliates move forward with marketing, I'm going to share these out with everybody after this webinar, and you all can use these to think about, this is how we're going to measure our success with our marketing, or some of these factors. And of course, this list can grow and be developed a little more as we are, meeting as individual affiliates and we think about our marketing and that kind of thing. But at least we've gotten a start on the thinking with this. So is there any other last thought about these before we move on? Okay, well, thanks everybody for your input on that. So this is where I'm going to ask Kathy to step in. And the first thing that she is going to be talking about, well, there are three things actually. She's going to talk about the overall messaging that the foundation itself has been thinking about. And that is just like what we want the world to know about our work, right? And then she's going to spend some time taking us through some elements of the website that has been developed in collaboration with Print and Pixel. And then we'll take a look at some of the logo development that's been going on as well. So, Kathy, you ready to start? Okay.
Thanks, Donna. All right. If my Wi-Fi gets a little unstable, I may have to turn off my video. But nowadays, we know that the website represents a first impression. So one's first image before a person decides to make a donation or start a fund. And so at the foundation, we realized, I guess it was about a year ago, that our website needed to be more reflective of our work. It needed to tell our story. So we have, if you think about it, we have the traditional donors, and we have like our high net worth donors. Then we have our expatriates that still consider our region home. We have national funders that might want to use our affiliates as intermediary areas. And then we also have national funders that are interested in charitable causes in Appalachia. So we wanted to appeal. We wanted to use the website to appeal to all these different individuals. So that's kind of how we thought about it. And we also know at the foundation that we're the only nationally accredited community foundation in Southeast Kentucky. So that makes us really unique. And also we needed to tell that story a little bit better. So, we do great work, and we just needed to share it. And it's our story, and it's also the affiliate stories, and we needed to promote it. So here we snapshotted a few of the premier looks of the website and our logo. And we do want to mention that it's not 100% finished. So we wanted to get thoughts of everybody on the video today, and those that will watch it later in the recorded segment. And then we wanted it kind of be a collaborative effort that, and we are hoping to go live in April. So we've been very pleased so far with Print and Pixel. They have done a phenomenal job just capturing what our thoughts have been, and it has been a team effort. And Tanya, she's on the call too. She's kind of been leading us in this effort. I'm not going to say it's herding cats, but we just want to get all of our thoughts together, and it just needs to be a collaborative effort, and it has been. And then when we get down to the logos and the affiliate logos, we want them to be companion logos. So people, if they see the insignia, they realize that the affiliate is part of the network of the foundation. And so they can identify that just through the insignia part. So we want them to know that that's a relationship between the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky and the affiliates. So we're going to go through a couple of these pages. Some of it has some text. There was one that I did not capture, and I printed it off because it had some good messaging on it too. But this is, we are not a traditional community foundation. I think most people know that. We do a lot more. Uh-oh. Am I unstable? Sorry, I got a message. So we are not a traditional community foundation. We do a lot more. And then these we are rising where we are rooted. That's going to kind of be the message, because we are in Appalachian, Kentucky. We're proud of being Appalachian, Kentucky, and we're going to build on that. It's part of our story. Do you have the next one?
Real quick, just Sandy, I was looking at the chat. I don't think this is an actual page from the website. This is kind of just setting the tone. But yes, I agree. The periods are distracting. And the pictures used are ones that we gave them that we have had local photographers take throughout the region. So yes, they are Eastern Kentucky mountains.
Yes, they are. So anyway, when you go to the positioning statement, I thought that it was very powerful. Reclaiming the power of community for Eastern Kentucky begins with investing in the people rooted there. And that's very important for people to understand, where we are, what we're doing, and how we're working together to make everything better. We believe in consistently and intentionally shifting control back into the hands of local leaders. And that's where we're talking about the affiliates, with the networking of the affiliates. And we think that's really important to bring to the forefront of the website, how we network with the affiliates. We bring people together and ideas and resources to build communities, encourage philanthropy. And then it goes down by supporting communities, growing assets, and strengthening leadership. The foundation for Appalachian, Kentucky is rising where we're rooted. And that's going to be a central theme to the website. Let's see. And then the one that I did not get to, I didn't snapshot this one. It says, the foundation is a trusted hub for community action, bringing tools and resources to groups of people across the region who are mobilizing locally to ensure equitable participation in a regional economic transition. And that's what it's called practice. And that's on another page that's on there. And then also, I didn't share it yet, but we had our color palette, and I didn't share that. I don't know if I can get that up to the screen to where you can see it. But those are the primary colors, and then these are the secondary colors. I kind of call them root vegetable colors, but that's what they remind me of. So anyways, we kind of go through this, just like your thoughts that you provided us, Sandy, that's great. So we want to kind of get everybody's thoughts on that. And then also, we want to open it up, let Kristen or Tanya maybe expand on anything that I've said so far. We have shown this to our foundation board a couple of weeks ago, and I thought they were very excited about it. I know we're excited about it, and I think it's going to do a really good job of telling our story. Let's see. And then also, if you go on down to the next page, Donna, we have, that's going to be the landing page right there. As you see, the affiliates are very identifiable right there from the beginning. We're going to have stories in several different locations where it identifies our work. And there's going to be stories on the affiliate page. And so this is the landing page. I think that is the same picture. The pictures are not all confirmed yet, but let's see, can you give one more now? That's going to list the funds, and each fund will be listed as well as the affiliate funds, and each one will have their own URL. So that's really important. Before, sometimes they would have to drop down to find this. So it's going to be simple, super easy to donate to a specific fund that's listed there. And they're all going to be listed, and they can have a summary of what the fund is. And then maybe one more. So then I would try to get to the affiliate page there. So this is a basic workup of the affiliate page. It's going to have, this is not anything that's 100%, but it's going to have the mission, it's going to have the story, it's going to have the impact, it's going to have their own URL, it's going to have the grants they've awarded and also how to apply for a grant. So this is just going to be super simple if someone wants to apply for a grant through the affiliate. And I think that, and if you notice, the coloring is a little bit different on this one because we wanted to show that it is still part of the foundation, but yet they're all unique. Then if you go on down, oh, okay. So anyway, so let's open this up for questions before we go to the logos. How about that? Or any comments on this part?
And if I need to switch back to slides for people to see them, just let me know.
Can we go back up to the slide with the 3 paragraphs or the 3 statements? Right there, the positioning statement, yes. A comment that I would have in the second section, I think someone else had a comment about reclaiming, but in the comment about the idea that this is kind of a grassroots community-oriented effort, it makes me think a little bit about where it says shifting control back into the hands of local leaders. You know, that might sound a little bit more hierarchical. And so I'm wondering if we need to say back into the hands of the local community members, you know, something like that.
That's a good point.
Yes.
So rather than the word leaders.
And there was some discussion around that, Melissa. And first off, these are positioning statements that are internal so that we get the frame of mind of what the messaging is going out. So these won't be front and center on any documents, you know, facing the public. But the conversation was around, we're trying to build up leadership through these boards, through our affiliate boards. And so viewing the affiliate boards as our leaders in the community, not necessarily elected officials. But I do hear that, like, that's a very fine nuance and an internal conversation nuance. But I do think members might be probably a little bit more accurate.
Because one of the things I see is it says to shift control back. So that means like you're turning it back into a group of people that previously had leadership, but I'm just saying the way it reads
Right.
is that you're returning control back to local leaders. And so I feel like it's a little bit more of a shift, maybe from the way it was to something new, which maybe the word back might not be the right word because maybe we're going in a new direction. And I also think that if we are talking about rising or raising up new leaders, that might need to be in here somewhere, because I think that is an important point, that we are maybe building up, encouraging, you know, the next generation of leaders. So maybe that's important enough to rise into the language. Just my comment.
Well, and I want to build on what Melissa was saying. Even though this is an internal positioning and just internal between you guys and the web builders, that feeling will emulate in their choices of words too. And I know that when you look at the word reclaiming, control back, those types of words, I know that because at one point in time, Upper Cumberland's wanted to transform the region, and man, talk about people getting mad at that. I mean, they bristled and just spit out cotton, you know, because they're just like, transform, you know. So we had to start using enhance and grow and those types of words, which didn't give any inkling that there was anything wrong with the present.
Yeah.
Just saying, you know, and I mean, it's just a way of being able to think.
No, good point, Sandy.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, as Kathy said, first off, the website's not completed yet, but that also means that like the content has not even been created, and we're still in the process of giving feedback, even on these positioning statements. I mean, this was, and I do hear that feedback, and I very much appreciate that. And Sandy, we are perfect. We can just be more perfect.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what we're talking about. We are awesome, but we're going to be more awesome, and we're going to have more people leading the awesomeness.
We're on the same page.
Very good.
And I think the enhanced word will be better in that case. It will not reflect that someone we were bad in the past or someone else was bad in the past.
Right.
So enhance it, I think it's a good way to go.
Good point.
Good point. Thanks, Rika. Anyway. Okay, well, then let's, any other comments about, and that will, you're right, that will carry over into the content as we finalize that. So those thoughts are very, very helpful for us to keep in mind as we.
And another thing, I would like that local leaders, maybe the community members would be better than that leader part. Local leaders to me is like we have voted them, we don't want those type. We want regular community, day-to-day people like normal people, not the elected officials.
Yeah.
Because elected officials are here today, gone tomorrow. But hopefully we'll be here forever, or our children and grandchildren.
Yep.
I appreciate the visual of our local leaders are not normal people. So,
Absolutely.
yes.
I am also very grateful because one of the conversations within the Perry County Community Foundation affiliate was a little bit of perceived autonomy, and in the page for the affiliate where we will have our own URL and we will have our own donation URL. When we are sharing and we're connecting folks, to be able to have that to come here, I really like that, and I appreciate that. So that I think that helps. That really
And
does.
each affiliate will have their own mission statement. As Sandy said, they've already crafted theirs, and then we'll have stories that we can change in and out. And then also there's going to be an idea section for affiliates that you can share successes and failures with. I know we talk about collaboration between the affiliates. So say Sandy might go on the idea section and say how they did their the poker run and how they continue to build on that every year. So I think that'll be real helpful for the affiliates to share with each other some successes and failures, so they'll know not to do it that way or something. So we're planning on having that. And then also there's going to be a resource page for the affiliates, so that'll have templates on it and fillable forms and things that you might need if you're going to go visit a donor, or if they, and that's for just the affiliate board members. It's not going to be a locked page, but it is just going to be a specific URL that the board will have. I mean, it's not anything that's secret, but it's not going to be front facing for the public.
And what about a contact us for each affiliate? Is there going to be one big contact page at the bottom of it, or is each affiliate going to have its own sort of contact? Sorry.
As you scroll down, it has the board members on there, but if there's a specific phone number that you want, we had to kind of tweak this a little bit so it fit on one slide. So when you go to the affiliate page, you will scroll down and you'll have the list of the board members as well. And then so we didn't really talk about having a contact for the specific affiliate, but we could if somebody wants to provide a phone number or an email for that specific affiliate, we could add that easily.
It might be, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Well, and we may be talking about the same thing or not, but from within an affiliate, it would be fantastic to be able to find out how to get in touch with Sandy or find out who else is on the Clinton County Community Foundation as an example. So it would be not whether or not that's forward facing. I mean, I don't know, but from our perspective, if we're in a meeting, so well, I wonder how they do it. It'd be nice to be able to go and find and contact people in other affiliates, at least internally, whether that's external or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
that's something.
that some web pages can have their own designated email addresses. So it could be, scurd at, fakyuccf.com or whatever it is, so that when you get that, that it came through that particular website. But, I think about, like, if I were living in Lexington and I went to this page, the first thing I'm going to do is go through every affiliate board member list looking for anybody I know, because I want to get the skinny and I want it to be on somebody that I know. And so if we're willing to keep on top of all the changes that sadly happen more rapidly than any of us want to our boards, by having that, I think we could really generate a lot more, building trust, as well as increasing and enhancing communications by creating, instead of it being one entry into it, it sort of like spreads it out among all of us.
Donna, would it be possible for me to share a page?
Yeah.
To share my screen? Okay, I want to show you all, as Kathy said, we had to condense this down to fit on a PowerPoint, but I'm going to share my screen with you all so you can see the mock-up of the affiliate single. Let me, let's see. Donna's working on that.
You might have to stop sharing first, Donna, before Kristen can.
We're all still learning about
course,
Zoom.
thank you. I know. I just was like, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
All right, let me share my screen here. All right, can you all see this? Can you all see this?
Almost.
Almost.
Yes,
Yeah,
there we go.
there we go.
All right. So obviously Clinton County is our guinea pig here. And like we said, none of the content has been created. The pictures haven't been. So it'll flow down. It'll have the links to the Give Now, apply for grants awarded, logo, and then the subhead and call out will have something there, not been created
Sure.
yet. And then it'll have the board of directors listed. Whether or not we want pictures there or not is to be decided. And I'm not sure if that needs to be per affiliate or across the board decision, but then it will also have the affiliate's contact information, links to their specific social media pages, different things like that. So that will be on the affiliate page.
Very good.
Does that help everybody visualize?
It does. I got a question. Is the idea that there will be maybe some hyperlinks on those names? And is that where, like, if you click on it, that it's going to go to maybe a bio and some contact information and a photograph or something like that?
That'd be cool.
That way, if we wanted to get in touch with a certain person, I think it'd be kind of nice to get maybe a little bit more information. That's so and so that works at so and so place, or oh yeah, they're retired from wherever, or hey, that's so and so's brother. I mean, it would just be nice to be able to have some context there if that's possible.
That would be great. I think we would have to work in depth with the affiliates to make sure that those stay updated as boards change. We get updated pictures. Jerry still uses her same photo from like 15 years ago. She does not have the same hair color, just throwing it out there. And so, making sure that things stay up to date.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that would be too much, if people switch jobs, things like that. So I think there's some room there to try to figure that out. But yeah, I'm not saying no, so it's also not my decision either. So, but I think it's a great idea that we can take to the developers. So,
Mhm.
but I wanted to share this so that you all could see like what this kind of flows like.
I have
like-
another question. Sorry.
Yes.
Why is the logo so far down? The individual logo for the affiliate. Can we put that up somewhere higher?
I think it's going to move up. I really do. And we can say that if somebody, Donna or Kathy or Tanya, wants to take a note on that real quick. But yeah, I think the format, like the layout of the page can have some room.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's
Like it could be to the left of the mission statement or something.
Yeah,
So
so
that
I
it's right up at the
yeah.
top.
Yeah.
I don't think we're committed to anything that you all see. Like it's all available. I also wanted to, Kathy, can I talk about this? The landing
Yes.
page for the
Uh,
affiliates? Well, so there will be talking about communities, and like I'm being very clear to express this is not final. Nothing is permanent. These are the ideas that we've thrown out that they've captured that we're still refining. And so, you know, highlighting the region that we work in, the counties that we're in. I don't know if these are, oh, it looks like they will be clickable to the county.
They are,
So,
yeah, I think they're
okay.
applicable to the county. Yeah.
So things like that. We're not going to have the full state. We're still playing around with what that looks like. But then talking about how the affiliates work on a grand scheme, and then being able to explore all the communities that we support, and then it leads into like blog stories that highlight the work that you all are doing in the communities. So that's kind of what that landing page looks like.
I have another question.
Oh, go ahead, Melissa.
I'm sorry, Sandy, you and I.
That's okay. No, I know.
So I know that up at the top, you have a financial section.
Yes.
And I know that I know what that is, and I know why that's there. But I do have a question because I don't know what that looks like, as far as if somebody was curious about what the financial position is for a particular affiliate. Will they be able to see that?
No, it's our 990 information.
Right. I just don't remember if on the 990 it gets into, okay.
It does not.
Okay.
And we won't release those, that fund information.
Gotcha.
Either. So no, it's the foundation as a whole, combined together with the 990 that gets audited.
Right.
So.
And then Kristen, you said something about the whole state of Kentucky. No, we're not. Okay, right. Because I assumed we are set up just for the 54 counties of Eastern Kentucky, right?
So, right. What I was saying was that picture of that map currently showed all of the state. That's what the designers had put up, and we had told them that we want to shrink that down to our service area. And then we're highlighting the counties that we are currently have affiliates in.
Well, the reason I ask is because I have somebody who is across the Cumberland Gap in Tennessee, and we were talking to them about some stuff, and I was going to refer them to a different foundation, but I was like, if we can do it, but we can't, right?
But we have friends in Tennessee. The East Tennessee Community Foundation, Trudy. Is that her name, Kathy?
Trudy, yeah.
She works, she serves in the Appalachian Funders Network with us, and Tennessee is her. So
Gotcha. Emily, did you hear that? That's who I'm going to refer to, the fellow we were on the call with earlier this week. So anyhow.
Yeah, that'll be great. He'll be happy.
Look at us. 2 birds, 1 stone with this meeting.
Yes.
All right. Okay, do we want to go ahead and, just for the interest of time, move into looking at the logos?
Yeah.
Okay, I will open my screen for those. All right. So there we go.
Okay. So that's the basic overall logo. Should we say this week? We've made a few little tweaks in it. The overall concept has remained the same. Kind of goes with the color palette that I had shown you all earlier. And then that's the foundation. And then that's a couple of different versions of how we can use that, just with the text and that around with the circle. That one doesn't have the overall
We're still
circle.
feeling these out. Like we just got put the navy circle around the logo because we kind of thought that without the circle it looked a little unfinished, and so we're still trying to tweak that.
I personally like it without the circle, but that's just a Melissa opinion.
I'm going to tell you that it looks really good with the circle printed out. and it's a little awkward looking on a piece of paper without it. We've done this like print it out for agendas and different things like that, playing around with it. It looks a little, and in black and white, it looks fabulous. So that's also fun.
Does anybody
Sorry, Donna.
see any letters in it?
I see
Yeah.
an F and an A.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what you're supposed to see.
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You win.
Okay. Oh, yay. Yay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. When you guys are printing this out and testing it, go over to your favorite embroidery store and ask them to run it real quick on their stuff too. Okay. Cause that makes a big difference as well. You know, cause, you know, you just gotta make sure that it looks good on a garment. And sometimes, yeah, if you would just, if you've got friends
Good
over
idea.
there. Yeah.
I really like the one where you've got the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky around it. I really like that.
Yes.
And when you think about customizing, because I know I see that's a subsequent a slide we're getting ready to see. Is there a way to possibly customize the individual logos to have that around where we would say like the Perry County Community Foundation whatever that is? Because I like the words around the circle.
That's exactly what Kristen mentioned yesterday. Yeah.
Melissa.
I
on the
agree.
page here. So that is, I like the idea of like putting the affiliate name around it. Also one possibility, so Donna, go to that next slide that shows it. We had also thought potentially about doing it so that it's the round logo and it says Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky, and then have, you know, Clinton County Community Foundation out from it. We haven't had it mocked up yet. Like this was literally in the office yesterday, just kind of throwing out ideas while we were looking at stuff. I mean, y'all are getting like hot off the presses, like, you know, we're also forming opinions about it at the same time. So throw out your ideas.
You know,
I love Melissa's idea of, you know, maybe doing a Clinton County Community Foundation around it. That would be really cool. Donna, you writing that down? Okay.
And if you did that, then do you need the circle?
Oh,
think
no,
maybe
you
we
mean the
should
line
consider-
circle? No, yeah.
I think maybe we should consider where we're going to use the logo. So you have the option of using the traditional logo with the circle around it and then Clinton County to the side. And then also having the logo with the wording around it, depending on where it's going to be used.
Yeah.
Right. We could
that
have
could be
different
affiliate.
I mean, we could have like two or
Some
three
options.
options. Yeah.
Well, I would want to be careful though, because you don't, I know that the image is going to be very distinct. That's obvious. I've never seen, you know, that doesn't make me think of another organization or whatever. That's very unique. But I also think that it's, you don't want it to be distracting to have multiple logos. And it's like, oh, what am I looking at now? Okay, what am I looking at now?
Another
An insignia one kind of is the circle, and then one with the text part would be the overall logo. Of course, then they have the tagline in there too. So
that's what I was going to
um,
suggest is it would be great to see a mock-up of the tagline circling the logo, rising where we're rooted.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just, you know, and I'll also suggest to you that in our affiliate mock-ups, I'm kind of missing that little bitty line underneath that says an affiliate of the Foundation of Appalachian Kentucky. You know, I just, you know, to me, that's, if there's some place to make that fit, you know, I miss it. If it's not there.
we did mention that too. Yeah.
Same conversation, Sandy, that we had yesterday. How do we fit it in? The other thing with specifically with Upper Cumberland that we talked about was, you know, listing the counties underneath where you all are. You know, and so like I said, hot off the presses, haven't given them any feedback from this. And so you know, you all throw it out to us so that we can give and get some mock-ups from PMP. I'm sure they'll love to do it. But you know, I am one that I can't visualize it unless it's on a piece of paper in front of me. And so we can talk about You know, putting Perry County Community Foundation written around the circle, I don't know what it's going to look like.
Right, right.
Even though I have foundation.
I wanted to say one thing about that because I do like that a lot, but I also like the other one because I think if you have Perry County Community Foundation in the circle, around the circle, it's not as prominent. It's not as noticeable if that's like our only option. So I also like the one where it says in large letters, Perry County Community
Right.
Foundation.
And it might be to what Tanya's point was of the affiliate, each affiliate might have two options depending on what circumstance they're using it in.
Yes.
You know, it might be that when you all sponsor an event, a big rectangle can't fit, but a circle can.
Right.
You know, something like that. So we will talk with P&P about getting some options.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
Yep. And Shareka, I think Shareka keeps trying to say something, so.
I mean, I'm still at the square one because when I look at this logo, it does not pop saying that, oh, it is Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky. Maybe I'm a foreigner because, I'm a foreigner, but an Eastern Kentuckian. To me, it should signify this is my county, this is my foundation, and this just does not give me that FA in there, like Sandy mentioned earlier. But I guess from everyone's point of, you know, when I see everyone, whatever they have said, I think they like this logo. But me personally, I feel like the logo it should let me know that this is it. Like I'm on the board at Big Sandy, and it says Big Sandy Healthcare and Kentucky next to the, you know, it throws at me immediately where I'm coming from. Here, I have to spend time in thinking, what is this thing? So I'm sorry.
It's okay. I tell you what, every single logo conversation I have ever been a part of, you know, if you get 50% to really kind of let it speak to, you have hit a home run because it is just almost impossible. You know, I
agree. I do agree.
I know. It is so great. You know, but to me, this one stands up nicely against, say, like a foundation out of New York City. You know, so that it speaks outside of our region a little bit as well. I like the fact, and see, I'm a cloth type person, not a weaver, but you know, to me, it looks like cloth that's woven together. But that's just how I'm seeing it and so forth. And I mean, obviously the colors are the only color that's more popular right now than these colors would be if you did shades of gray, you know, so.
Well,
Shareka, one of the comments that I would make is that even if it's an F and an A, well, I mean, it is an F and an A. The thing that to me kind of ties all of these communities together is it is Appalachia. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of feel like when I see that it's an Appalachian foundation, you know, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Then it to me is like, oh yeah, you know, we're here in Appalachia. I think that we see the F and A because we know that we're looking for that. And I'm sure if someone sat and pondered it for a while, they might see that. But the regular folk that come across this logo, I don't know that they're going to say, oh, that's an F and A. That stands for, you know, the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky. But I think if you started explaining it and say, you know, we're a foundation in Appalachia, you know, oh, do you see the F and the A? And I think that all kind of, you know, comes together. But, you know, I think I like the idea that Sandy said that it kind of looks like, you know, fabric and it kind of looks like material. I really like that.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of a weaving. Yeah, it's kind of the weaving. The background's kind of weaving it, you know. So yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah.
When I looked at it, I thought it is like the yarn ball, you know, the yarn. Ball of yarn.
Yarn, yeah, exactly. Same thing. Woven yarn, yeah. So.
you all are having the same conversations that we have had as a staff about this.
Is
Oh.
that
This is-
scary?
It's actually a very good sign that you all are really on the same page
Yeah.
with this. And so that's
Yeah.
very good.
Great minds,
Very
right?
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things we wanted to talk about too, and so before, we'll gather any quick last thoughts about the logo if anybody hasn't had a chance to speak up, but maybe think about the marketing materials that would accompany the website. Those might be digital materials that would be on the website, or also print materials, collateral that you can hand out in your communities to potential donors or to nonprofit groups. And so are we ready to move into that marketing kind of piece discussion?
Yeah, probably considering the time, probably so.
Yeah. All right. So we've had our discussion. So I was going to capture these here as well. So and there were some potential things that have come up partly because the Perry County Community Foundation is already talking about a marketing plan, and some of the things that I think came up there, Q&A on planned giving, basic types of different estate plans, types of funds in a community foundation, a one-pager about that could be print or online, ways a person can donate, a one-pager about that could be both print and online, videos that explain community foundations that are online. So what other types of things, if you think about what you feel like your affiliate needs, what are other kinds of materials that the foundation could help develop?
I would like to see I'm going to call it a card. It doesn't have to be, it could be a taller, skinny card. It might be a 4x6, something of that fashion that is, so maybe two different kinds. One that is going to be specifically marketed to donors, where it is, this is what a community foundation is. This is who we are. I love that whole idea of, just giving, 5% and what kind of impact that could make. Just that kind of really motivational, as you're talking to somebody, you give them this one kind of thicker cardstock, kind of high gloss, all the way to the end, kind of, medium that has all this information, maybe front and back. Again, that unified message, I think, is going to be real important. So I think being able to give folks talking points as a board member or as someone who's advocating for that community foundation, and then being able to hand that over, I think that would be helpful.
We at Upper Cumberland's wanted and requested and got giving cards, but one of the things that I noticed as I was trying to include giving cards in our holiday solicitation letter is they're too big. They won't fit in an envelope. Okay. So if we could, when we do make some of these things, make sure that we can include them in other types of mailings so that they will have double lives. And not just be something that you distribute, hand out. They can be used in other ways.
Okay, Donna, take off 4x6.
If there is a way to tell the people why they should donate to us. What is it there that we have that will make us donate to us? To me, because I come from India, it is more distinct. Everyone from this country may not realize it, but I do. This Floyd County particularly resembles a way more like India than it does the rest of the United States. So we need to, and that's the reason we've been here 40 plus years, because it reminds me of India. And you always want to go back to your roots. And I feel like this is my roots, So we need to show it to general public, that why is Floyd County, sorry guys, important.
I think that videos of success stories specific to our counties would help do that. And I think we've kind of talked about that, but I think that's a big marketing piece because lots of times people, they know the name, but they're like, oh, they're those people that give out some grants. They don't really understand how what we do helps our county. And so if you have 2 or 3 different, very different, especially kinds of success stories that you can share. And I think short 1-minute video vignettes would be a great way to do that, more so than in print, that you can, say, here's so-and-so talking about how we helped this organization or whatever.
And I think that we need to find a way to keep those current. I know that there's a lot of folks talking about right now, it doesn't take like a big fancy expensive videographer to do some of that. You can do that. You can give somebody and tell them to record something on their phone. It could be something but we need to be able to keep that current, keep that fresh. But coming back up to the fourth one down, and I know I've said it 1,000 times. I think I shared it even with our Perry County Community Foundation. The video that Donna shared in one of the webinars that explained the impact of the 5% and what that could look like. It was very so it was a little bit animated. It was very youthful. It's very high energy. I just thought it was incredibly fun. It was very visually stimulating. I just would love to see us have something like that rather than talking heads. I just want us to be real cautious that it's not just a bunch of talking heads, especially if we're asking people in the community to just talk about that, because, and I hate to say this, somebody's going to look at that and be offended by who's talking.
Yep.
And I just think we got to be careful, because if it becomes so special niched and it's associated with certain people. Now, I'm not saying, Wanda, about the success stories. That's not what I'm talking about, because I think we have to have that. But the overall impression of the foundation, I just want us to be careful that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot because we've, offended somebody because somebody's on there that they don't like. So maybe if we could make that a little bit more
Generic.
And I think you could possibly have
video
one
that you're
video.
talking about that Donna sent out. I loved it.
I think you could have one video, the same video, but is there some way to customize that for each foundation? Each affiliate, I mean.
Yes,
So,
I think, we, the communications team and Laura, they're looking into that too. It's a very similar video that I think it's the same one. And so she's looking at trying to replicate that, and we'll do it for each affiliate. And then we could put it on each page on the website and share it on Facebook pages as well.
well, see, I shared it with some potential board members, because we're looking at maybe some changeover in board members, because there were folks who were like, well, what is this? And I said, this is not our foundation, but this is what we stand for. This is the kind of work we do. And I was able to share out that video. So I just think it's very impactful. It's short. It tells the story. And plus it's not too person or individual focused.
Right.
Yeah, I think it should be generic. It should not be individualized.
Yeah.
I just mentioned the India because I'm from here, but I don't want India to be there.
Yeah. Okay, so we're getting close on time. We've got about 3 minutes left. And so what I will do is send out an email. Oh, Sandy, you got something to add?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
That's
there's
okay.
one thing that I've needed for the last couple of years, and that is a good digital template that can be modified that I can run through my laser printer. I mean, right now I've got a box of beautiful postcards, but every time we need to send a thank you note, I have to send the postcard to the board member. And, one can say, I'll just give them a big honk, but then I have to tell them where they hid it in their office. Okay. So, but it would just be so much better if that option was available to just be able to do high stock quality paper and just run it through my printer. And that way I could change it, and it could be a thank you note, or it could be a was thinking of you note, or please consider note, and to be able to do those types of things where we're sharing the digital files instead of having to share the physical items.
Yeah, and that's something we could have on our resource page really easy, and you just insert
Download it.
the Upper
Yep.
Cumberland logo in it, and it'll be and then tweak it a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, okay.
Save a little in the coordination there.
All right, so we were going to talk about possibly, and this was only if we had time, and I think we don't have time, but be thinking about the role that social media can play in your work as well. And we could come back to that and revisit it sometime at a future webinar, or just have some kind of email discussion about it. But as we come to an end, one of the things that I want to do is launch a poll just to see how the folks who were able to join us today feel about where the foundation is going. And so we want you to respond to this question. I feel confident that the marketing and branding work that the foundation is leading will help meet the needs of my community foundation. You can agree, you can feel neutral, or you can disagree. And so I will launch that poll. If I can find, oh, there it is. Actually, I will stop sharing my screen now and launch that poll. That'll make it easier. So I'm launching that. And everybody should see it and be able to respond.
I have one more comment while they're responding, Donna.
Sure.
And that is, when we do pull the trigger on this, we need to go through every office and every little tree and every little logo and everything. And we need to just recycle those things and get them out of the play. Okay. Because nothing is worse than trying to do a branding, a new brand, saying it's a new time with our foundation, and then saying, oh, and by the way, we're too cheap to throw out the old and bring in the new. I mean, it just, it just sends the wrong message.
Thank you, Sandy. We're actually working on donating some items. Like, we have some old folders and things we're going to donate to some local schools for their students to use, different things like that. Probably water bottles as well.
Lip balm,
which I'm not gonna lie, I just opened another one yesterday because
it's so good.
Okay.
And actually we're sending a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so we're purging all of that. I hate to like throw all of it away, but we're trying to figure out who it can go to that can use it.
Yep.
That's not necessarily our clientele. I feel like elementary school kids, they can, use the folders, things like that.
Sure.
And then to your point about updating, like going through all the documents and things like that, P&P, we've sent them, I believe, most of our documents that we currently use, and they're updating them with the new color scheme, the logo, making sure all of that's updated as well. So, and if y'all catch anything, let us know.
I'm so sorry. I got a 1 o'clock. I didn't realize it was already due.
Okay. All right. Take care. And we see that folks are agreeing. So good job, Foundation. And thank you all for your input. And we will get this recording up, and I will also share out all the ideas that came up today. So thanks everybody for joining us, and have a great afternoon.
Perfect. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.